You want some of this, Otachi? Just to warn ya, I can't look down nor really rotate. My arm has no way of swiveling, and this is literally as far as I can kick. But I am going to mess up your day. Hey, Otachi! You can call me the replacement. Hey Rangers, welcome to Super Important Reviews. My name's Steve, and today we're going over the NECA Pacific Rim Striker Eureka Ultimate Edition. This is Jaeger's from Pacific Rim. If you guys haven't seen the movie, awesome movie. And I've been actually highly anticipating this figure personally because the original Eureka Striker, I consider to be the worst Jaeger to come out of this line. Mainly because I wasn't a big fan of its articulation, like, especially on mine, it's really poopy. I don't really like how they did the blade gimmick on the original one, and also just the proportions on it seemed a little bit off to me anyways. So it's just one of those figures I was never really that excited about, and I'm just seeing some images of this guy and what he comes with, was really excited to pick this guy up, and I'm really hoping this guy rectifies my problem with that original figure. So without further ado, for the packaging, really love this packaging. It's actually probably my favorite out of the entire line as of right now. Really helps to show off Striker Eureka. Also, I like how it has his country of origin, also has his battle specs here on the bottom, which is pretty cool. And also on the bottom here it has the movie logo, which is pretty sweet. Side of the packaging here you get some more information. Mark V Jaeger, his name, another concept image. Other side of the packaging, exact same. Top of the packaging, still more of the same. And on the back of the packaging, just get a really awesome image of Striker Eureka shooting his missiles with his blade arms activated, and what he could do on the bottom of the packaging, and some legal mumbo jumbo. Also, you can open up this box because there is a window on the inside of it. So it gives you a nice technical specs on the left side. And I really like how it gives them that overall docked appearance. I kind of wish they would have translated that to the back though, because on the back of the packaging it just is the more traditional buildings. Not sure if you guys can really see it. Actually, I'll pop them out of here real quick. Because as you can see on the back of the packaging, it's just the buildings in the background. You got some water. And also the docking bay on the bottom of here. Which actually overall is still really cool. Like, I love the overall aesthetics of the packaging. And then just to show you guys what it looks like on the inside of the packaging without having Striker Eureka inside of it. Looks freaking gorgeous. Really hope that they keep going with this with the Ultimate Gypsy Danger that's going to be coming up pretty soon. And now onto the review. That's another way Striker Eureka opened up out of his prison. First, we're going to go over a few of his accessories, starting with his wings, which are pretty much his thrusters that go on his back. Overall, the detail work on these are fantastic. Really love the metallic flake that they have inside of the paint job here, which it's overall this very nice bluish gray paint job with a little bit of gunmetal to give it a little bit of accentuation and some black lining for the detail work on the inside of it. Some thrusters on the back here molded very nicely. And overall, same with the other one, pretty much mostly the same exact looking mold, with the major difference actually being that they have different pegs on the back here. So when you're putting these onto Striker Eureka, you'll see here you're going to have to line up the wings, which we're going to see if I can get these on without actually getting the hairdryer out. Maybe not. Let's try the other one. Because you notice here too that there's actually little pegs here, so this is probably where the problem's going to be a little bit. Alright, right back. Alright, so what you're going to need to do is if you got a hairdryer laying around, which this is the most convenient way of doing this, or if you don't have access to a hairdryer, hot water is also a nice trick to help loosen the plastic here a little bit, to make it a little bit more pliable when you're trying to attach things. But what you're going to want to do, and I'm going to explain this before I get into it, is you're going to want to aim the hairdryer at the peg holes here to help soften them up, so when we go to attach the wings, then they should go in fairly easily. So, turn on the hairdryer. You're going to want to do this for about 15 seconds overall. Alternate between the two. Alright, so should be good enough to pop these in now. Ah, yeah, that was definitely much easier. Pop the other guy in as well. Yep, goes right in there smoothly. Sits in there very flush. Looks really awesome on our Striker Eureka. And his next accessory, since we got the hairdryer out, we have the heavy payload, which what this was a nuclear bomb strapped to the back of Striker Eureka at the end of Pacific Rim when they go to try to blow up the breach. Which the paint job on here is actually very nice as well. Mostly the same as Striker Eureka, where you have the nice grayish blue paint job and some dog hair on the side of there. And some yellow paint here with some radioactive symbols on the inside of it. Overall looks very nice and has the same kind of metallic flake that the rest of the paint job here has. with some ports on the end, which look really nice. Also, I like too that these are actually on their own little ball joints, so they're actually articulated. So once we get it attached onto the Striker Eureka, you're actually able to position these how you want, which is actually really cool. And getting this on Striker Eureka, what you're going to need to do is, there's a peg hole right back here where he has this, I'm going to call it a vent port. What you're going to want to do is insert this into the peg hole here. And the main problem we're going to have, I noticed initially when I tried putting this in, is it's super tight getting that in there. And I kind of worry about the peg snapping when you're going to be wanting to put this in, at least on mine anyways. So again, going to heat it up with a hairdryer. All right, good to go. Hopefully this should slide in there pretty easily now. Still a pretty tight fit. Make sure you're going straight into the hole when you're pushing down so as not to actually damage the peg joint, because you don't want to put stress on it. Otherwise you could snap it. And it's still really snug fits, and I think that's about as far as we're getting that in there. So on mine, it's going to be sitting up just ever so slightly, but for the most part, you're not going to really notice it sitting up there, especially with it on his back, which overall looks amazing. Kind of wish maybe they would have made the peg hole there a little bit bigger, would have been nice. But overall, still really cool that he comes with this, because it definitely helps to replicate scenes from the film, which I can really get behind. And briefly, if you guys want to remove this safely, it's essentially the same way as when you're popping in. You're going to want to use the hairdryer, but we're going to want to remove the wings to make it a little bit easier. So when you're pulling it off, you can twist it a little bit. Just be very careful with it to pop it out. Once I heat it up, it actually loosened that hole up pretty easily, so now it's actually pretty easy to get it inside of there. But if you guys have a little bit of trouble again, just use the hairdryer, aim it right around here to heat up the plastic a little bit, just to make it a little bit easier to pop this thing in and out. For his next accessory, we're actually going to be removing his breastplate right here, which what you're going to want to do, which my first time it was a little bit stiff, but it should be pretty easy to get this off, is what you're going to do is get your nail right under the plate here. And then you just start pretty much lifting it up, trying to, if you can, grip it somewhere on the top of the breastplate as well. Then you just kind of wiggle it out of there. There we go. And then we're going to take our missile port, which you're going to want to have it with the large panels facing downward. You'll notice that there's the pegs right here, which are going to insert right into there. So you can kind of just line up the design here with the design on the breastplate right up here. And you just line it up. Insert it onto the top section here, which lining up's not super hard. Push it down. Recommend pushing on the cannon barrels here because it's the stiffest part. And then once you get these bad boys on, it looks freaking amazing. Like, this is what Striker really needed to come with originally. Like, these look freaking awesome with this very nice gunmetal with some silver accents around the tip of the barrels. Look amazing. Really like how the plating looks when it's separated to reveal those. Freaking awesome. What would have been really cool if this actually would maybe been a gimmick where it actually could have popped out just on the figure on its own. But with the plastic that they use and stuff, this is definitely the safest way to go. And for most collectors, probably the most convenient anyways. And also what he comes with to go with these are some added little missiles to shoot out with some actual blooming on the bottom of the missile here and some orange clear plastic. And the missile kind of has this bullet appearance with some copper and silver paint on it. Looks really nice. And what you get with them is you get 3 total, with the second one being slightly smaller than the original, and the last one being the smallest of the bunch. And then how you attach these onto there is you literally just pick a barrel hole you want to insert these into, and then you just literally just push it right into the barrel hole. Might have to rotate it ever so slightly to get it in there, but once it's in there, it stays in there. Very nice, very snug. And we're gonna insert our second one into the middle one here just because I want to. And the tiny one at the top corner. And once you get the missiles in, look freaking amazing. Might have to adjust these a little bit just to get them to look more lined up. There we go. Really love what they did with this figure here, because initially when I saw it, I thought this was just going to be one solid piece with the missiles coming out, which seemed kind of like a bad idea. So I'm really glad that they went with this route. Might have been cool to maybe have the extra 3 missiles just so you can have all of them in. But overall, still really happy with what he came with. On a side note, just want to point out that these plates do have a little bit of flexibility to them. But just be a little bit careful, especially when you're attaching this onto Striker Eureka. not to apply pressure onto these points here, because I imagine these could pop off fairly easily. Then next we'll go over his details, which overall is Striker Eureka's body scheme. Same with the accessories, with this very nice bluish gray paint job here, with a very yellowish tan color scheme for a lot of his accents here, which you see on his bicep, on his hands, on his crotch, chest piece, and also on the kneecaps, and a little bit strung about throughout the figure here, which is very similar to the film. Really love the head sculpt on this guy too, with a lot of very nice details, with some added paint jobs here for some of the seam work here, and his visor, this nice metallic gold. For his chest, you get the bulldog biting a missile, which is awesome. Some lettering here for his designation number, which is pretty cool, and some added little pinstripes. Some vent works on the chest here, looks really awesome, with some red paint job in there to give it some added detail. A little blue stripe here on the bottom portion of his chest. His abdomen is this very nice, more weathered gunmetal paint job here with some more metallic flaking here to give it a nice shine to it. Then for his waist, has a lot of very nice details as well. Looks really good. The only thing that's kind of weird is where the pegs are to hold Striker's legs, and there's actually some red paint going around there, which is probably the only sloppy paint job I really notice on this figure personally. For his legs, look really nice as well. Really like the black here for the panel lining, just like you see on most of the rest of the body. The sculpt on here is awesome. Like even the feet have the gears on the bottom here. Looks really good. A little bit of detail here on the bottom of his feet. Sculpt on the arm is very nice as well. Even really like that shoulder pad up there. And the one thing I really love about the arms is for his cradle here, the blades can actually rest on the inside and actually hide in there pretty well. And what's really cool is that wasn't on the original Striker Eureka, where the only way you really have the blades on that one is if you would have them fully engaged, which on this one, you can actually have them swing out as well. The only thing that kind of bites about these is they actually pop off of here pretty freaking easily, just like on the original Striker Eureka, so there isn't nothing new there. But they do look really nice, so like the paint job on these definitely appear to be a lot better than on the original version. But I love that if you don't want them out, they can just rest inside of his forearm here and you don't really have to worry about anything. And I really love that improvement, especially that the hand paint job too looks really nice too. It has some more of that metallic copy here for the coverings on the fingers and the thumb. And then just to show you guys the back real quick, we already went over the wings and the exhaust port is what I'm going to call it on the back. But the detail work on the back looks really awesome too. And overall, just very impressed with this guy in terms of detail. Now, articulation for his head. Can look to the left, to the right, can also look down, can look up, and I'll show you guys down one more time. Can swivel side to side, so the head actually has a ton of articulation on this figure, which is really nice. For his chest, can look about that far down, if I get to stay, because one of the problems on mine is the joints are a little bit loose on mine, but you can look down about that far, up about that far, can rotate a little bit side to side, and also has a little bit of a wiggle. Then at the waist, can rotate side to side. For his arms, shoulders can go up about that far, down about that far, can rotate pretty sure all the way around. Yep. Also at the shoulder pad here in the top of the forearm, there is some articulation here, though on this side I'm gonna have to loosen it, which it seems kind of stiff on this side, but on this side I can show you a little bit better, is that this part can actually move on its own. So it can actually fully go up about that far, and then shifting that part down can close about that far. And then he also has a rotation at the lower part of the bicep, really nice elbow bend, which is really good. And then at his hands, can rotate all the way around and around the hinge joint, so they can move inwards, but that's about as far as it's going out. Then at the blades, can extend all the way down and are also removable if you don't want to have them on your striker. At his legs, can move outwards about that far, inwards about that far. So the leg articulation is a little bit lacking, but then again, the original one had the same problems as well. And then can have a pretty decent forward kick, really nice back kick. And then he also has a rotation here at the upper part of the thigh, which can help to articulate his leg out a little bit more, but the plating here gets in the way of the thigh, which is your main problem there. Then he has a bend here at the knee, also has a rotation at the knee, and then his foot's on a ball joint, so you can rotate it all the way around, can swivel it a little bit side to side, and move it up and down. So for this quick comparison, here we have some other NECA Pacific Rim figures with Crimson Typhoon and Cherno Alpha. And here is compared next to the NECA's Hong Kong Brawl Gypsy Danger and Romeo Blue. And here is compared next to the original release Striker Eureka, which I gotta say, definitely an improvement over the original version, because I just like the paint job on this one a little bit better. Definitely has improved articulation over this one. And just in terms of size and sculpt, just a very nice improvement over the original. And here is compared next to the NECA's Deluxe Otachi and Leatherback. And here is with the SH Monster Arts Betra and the NECA Godzilla 2014 12-inch long version. So overall with the NECA Ultimate Edition Striker Eureka, I actually really love this figure. Really think the details and paint job on this guy are a vast improvement over the original release, and love all the accessories that come with. I can't really think of anything else this guy really needs, other than maybe a couple extra missiles, but I'm probably just being greedy. And the only real issue with my figure is that his articulation's a little bit loose, but overall that doesn't really sway my opinion on this guy too much. Because if you guys really love Pacific Rim, love Striker Eureka, or just been wanting to replace the original one in your collection, then I definitely recommend you guys go pick up the fastest, newest Mach 5 Jaeger, the Ultimate Striker Eureka. But what do you guys think? Have you guys picked up the Ultimate Striker Eureka? What figure you want to see next out of the Pacific Rim line, or is the original release just more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. A little closer picture of this guy on Facebook. You want to click the link description below. Help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button. Subscribe to become a ranger today, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.